Here we go. All right, I think we're live. What's up, guys? Studfit here, joined by my good friend. You may not recognize him, but Antilev. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Not much. Feeling very aerodynamic. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Hey, we got a shiny head reveal with you guys. Appreciate you going out, getting out of your box. I mean, I like the switch up. I mean, usually I'm the one that dresses up. This time,
Yep.
it's nice that some of the pressure was taken off of me. So happy to have you with me, man. We're in a vacation tour. I just got back from vacation myself late yesterday, and I've been playing the game a little bit, mostly getting rid of my tokens. But I've been loving the tour so far. So many good courses for level grinding and for token grinding. So that's been basically all. I've been kind of heads down and just getting it all knocked out. But I love this tour. I actually am enjoying where the game's at right now, and I'm excited about the rundown. Before I do anything else further, would love to jump into. So, if this is your first rundown, welcome. We're going to be talking about the top 10. We're going to be talking about all the buffs that happened this tour, at least some of the most monumental, some of the movers and shakers, the ones that went up in the rankings, and a variety of other topics to help you to be able to make the best investments for your tickets, for your rubies, for your coins, to help advance your account, hopefully get you guys just that much closer to either top tier 80, tier 99, or who knows, maybe top 10. I still had some on my bucket list. So hopefully this helps me out as well. I still watch it like you guys, make the same investments you guys do, and so I cannot wait to get into it. But before we do anything else, I want to make a huge shout out to our stud fam. These are all our members. So I at least made sure to keep the super studs updated. So I want to give a huge shout out to Chris Clark. I'll be actually joining him alongside some of your other Mario Kart friends in a Mario Party. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday, August 20th. So join us at 7:30 Eastern on Sunday, August 20th. Myself, Sammy D, Frenzy fans, and others will be doing a little Mario Party. I'll be Waluigi. I'm excited. Chris Clark is the one throwing and putting it on, and it's actually all to raise money for I think the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So really excited to do that with you guys. So thank you, Chris, for joining the stud fam. Hopefully you can support him as he does that. You also see Larry 98. He's got this big red M that stands for, not only is he a mod, but he's also a super stud and also devotes a lot of time and energy into everything behind the scenes. So huge shout out to Larry 98. Also shout out to Alberto. Dropped a number of hours helping put together these slides as a part of our support team. So appreciate that as well. And everyone on here, thank you so much. Would not be doing this, going this hard into it after 3+ years if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you guys very much. All right, let's get into it. We have a brand new driver, a me driver. Let's talk about Wendy. Now, I think in this perspective, there's no high-end regular driver. We do have Wendy, which is really nice. But let's talk about her starting coverage. As always, the Mies always get a little bit less in the way of tracks, not just to start, but also throughout their life cycle. Also, I'm going to be looking at the chat here in a second, but let us know in the chat if you're watching. We'll give you a shout out here in a little bit. But while we're doing that, Antilev, I know everyone's probably in the chat just going bonkers over you not wearing like the fitted cap. I wore a fitted cap this week in your honor, man. But tell us a little bit about Wendy's starting coverage.
Yes, so this is the last Koopaling Me Racing Stew. We've had the other six earlier, and if you look in the drivers list in your inventory, you'll see that she's not been added in at the end, but she's been added in alphabetically in with the other Koopalings. We also, when Larry and Morton were added, and then maybe another one with them, Iggy maybe, also didn't get in the end. So they're all 7 in order right now. So this is the last one. She's got the heart skill, which is more of a multiplayer skill, not super useful for scoring. However, starting is actually not that bad. 8 tracks, which is more than usual. A standard me start is like 6 or 7 tracks, so 8 is pretty good. She's got 2 of the new squeaky clean sprints, both of the ranked ones actually, and both at level 1. So if you're struggling for drivers, might be worth it. Also, 1 recent retro in Peach Circuit R. However, that's level 8 unlock, unfortunately. 2 older retros and 3 cities. So the start is for this tour, like just before we talk about anything else, we have a mix of cities, old retros, new retros, and not new retros, but more newer retros, and the new nitros. So mainly what we're going to be looking out for in terms of the new items, in terms of buffs, are which items got the squeaky clean sprints that are in ranked. That is N and R, and then which items got the more recent retros. They're pretty paywalled. That's the Mushroom Bridges, that's the Peach Circuits, and the Bowser's Castle Forest. Those 10 tracks, because we only have 2 Bowser's Castle variants, remember. So she's got 2 of the Squeaky Clean Sprints and 1 of the Peach Circuits. So she also has 3 cities, but she's in 3 ranked tracks. So if you're having a hard time on ranked, you can put some tickets on Wendy Me and have a decent level on 3 of the 6 tracks already. 2 of them are week 1 and the other one are week 2. So as far as the starts go for Misu, it's actually not that bad. I know a lot of people clown on Wendy. I'm a Wendy fan mostly because I think it's funny. Everybody hates her. She's kind of an easy target. So I'm a fan of the suit. And yeah, let's see. It may turn out to be one of those, like the cheap me suit with bad skill, but great coverage.
Yeah, I like that too. So I'm looking out in the chat. Bennett Carey, first one out there in the chat before we got started. I see Adam82, who loving the time here, loving the premiere. I see Vista. I see Nitenja. Sorry, my man. I need to update, at least if no one else. You're like in the magical unicorn tier. We just need a Nitenja tier all by himself. Love what you guys, love what you do, man. Appreciate all your support. I see G Siegel. I see Tokyo DR out there. I see Deedle on vacation and join us as well. I see Ross Iconis. I see King Brian. Congratulations on your big achievement there. Check out Rita. I said that. I think Kareem. What's going on, Kareem? Leonardo Zappi. I see Alberto. What's going on, Alberto? Thanks again for your support, man. Ross got the tier. I'm sorry. Yeah, just thanks to those who were out there. Draco Raid. Shout out to Pepper Rabbit, Zachary, the Virginia Ruffian, Phil Sofatoros. I've definitely butchered that. Draco himself, Bandit Guy, Antilev saying hello to them. Rainbow, I see Alfie, Dark Deadly. I see Matt Allridge. What's going on, Matt? I see Melon Toad, Andy S. I see Demented. Congratulations, Demented, on level 99. Eggsy Kart, what's going on? And then Johnson Zhang as well. And then Nitenja, gifted the unicorn. He is back, gifted a 5-stud membership. So congratulations to those who won. Oh, Sana was one of those as well. Baba T Gang. I see Philosophic Chorus. So of course, thanks for me butchering your name. You get a free membership. Thanks to Nitenja. Great job, Nitenja. Torticard as well. Don't worry. And Danny Sarko. So there we go. We're all cut up on those watching live. If you haven't already, say hello. We always like having people kind of come out of the comfort zone. We know you're watching. Just come out and say hello. You don't have to sit back and stalk us. You can join in on the fun. All right, we do have a new super. We got Birdo Green. What's your thoughts on Birdo Green's initial coverage?
So I think the first thing about I actually like the color combination. The green is a cool shade of green with the yellow. I think it's nice. A lot of people kind of saying it looks weird. I think it looks good. I think it's also pretty interesting that Birdo has the Fire Flower, and now the reason for that is that is a callback to Super Mario Brothers 2, the original from the NES from 1988. Where all the Birdos in the game would spit either eggs or a combination of eggs and fireballs at you. But the green Birdos spit only fireballs, so you had to pick up other items and throw them at her because you couldn't pick up the fireballs, obviously, whereas you could pick up the eggs. So I thought that was a pretty cool shout out to Super Mario Brothers 2 from 35 years ago.
I didn't even know Intern 4 was alive back then.
I mean, it's like there's a few old heads around here. The start, on the other hand, is not really that good. You got 3 cities, one of the new nitros, Clean Sprint T, which is not in ranked, and then 2 baby parks, which are now old retros, not really that valuable anymore, especially not with this skill. 2 of the tracks she has are in ranked, however. Paris Promenade RT, which is a level 6 unlock, is in ranked week 1, and it's this driver is a week 1 ranked reward, so you could only use it on 1 rank track, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, the start here is not real good. If you're somehow desperate for a driver on Bangkok Rush 2 RT, you could use some tickets on it, but there are 8+ skill drivers top shelf on that track, 3 giant banana drivers, and 5 coin boxers. There's almost no way you don't have one of those at a decent level. So I would say you're pretty useless.
Well, I mean, some supers have been somewhat useful and have kind of come out the gate saying, throw a ticket on me. Don't worry about your daily selects. I think she's one that I think she's probably like kind of just a fun toss out just to those old heads like us. But either way, yeah, I mean, it'll be nice to have her. Hopefully, she comes in more handy later on. Now let's get to carts. This is one cart that I did purchase, and it's actually really fun to use as a driver. And just from looking at Rashid's listing, he did put it as I think the 6th largest hitbox in the game. So it is right between just slightly smaller than the Sunny Surf Sailor, I think is what it's called, and it's actually larger in hitbox. It's twice the width, once of the length than the Crawley cart, which I think was really interesting. So it is really long, it is really wide, it is extremely long, but I think overall it's nice to know kind of where it stands. It is slightly smaller than the Eagles as well, but it's bigger than the Banana Master, the Cupid's Arrow, the Prop card, just to kind of fully flesh out what else it is bigger than. So, which is on its coverage though. After we talk about the size.
Yeah, so I actually haven't played with this one yet. I haven't bought it yet.
It's pretty fun.
I didn't realize it was so big. I kind of thought it was going to be kind of blooper shuttle size. But yeah, a big card is always welcome. Looking at the starting coverage, actually not that bad. 2 new nitros. One of them is in ranked. Squeaky Clean Sprint N. 3 recent retros. So then we have Mushroom Bridge R, Mushroom Bridge RT, and Peach Circuit. The last 2 are level 6 and level 8 unlocks, unfortunately, but still pretty good starting coverage. And then it's got 4 cities and a baby park. So those are kind of the less valuable. But I would say 5 out of the 10 starting tracks are useful. Unfortunately, it only has 1 ranked track, that is Squeaky Clean Sprint N. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this one's going to develop with the hitbox.
Time will tell, man, but it's a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of, I'm trying to think if it was Mario Odyssey or whatever. You're kind of like sitting on this dolphin and kind of jumping off things. Might be even thinking about another character, but I just love the fact that they're getting creative. Like you've already given us a plane, you've given us a rocket ship, you've given us just about everything. Why don't we just throw a dolphin out there and let us ride on it? I think it's awesome. As compared to this purple rattle buggy cart, not quite as big of a fan. What's your thoughts on its initial coverage?
I mean, we use the term minimum viable hitbox, and this is far below that. Everybody should be well acquainted with how small the buggies are. This is a multiplayer size card. It's one of the tiniest cards in the game, so for scoring wise, it's just not worth it. It is starting with 11 tracks, so that's like pretty nice, but the value of the tracks isn't great. It has 5 cities, a battle track, which you almost certainly have covered in Twilight House now, 2 older nitros, Baby Park and Baby Park R. It's got 2 of the new nitros, Squeaky Clean Sprint R and T. One of those is in ranked, and week 2 is R, and then 1 more recent retro. So I would say 3 out of its 11 tracks are more valuable tracks. And unfortunately, the 1 recent retro is a level 8 unlock Bowser's Castle 4. So value-wise, volume-wise, it has a lot of tracks. Value-wise, no, and size-wise, absolutely not. So this is going to be a no for me, dog.
No for me, dog. Well, tell me about this green Turboberto. Any better than the driver?
Again, also quite a small card. The thing is, you have it, again, it 1 rank track at level 1 and another one at level 6. But however, they're both in week 2, so that is actually kind of convenient. If you're struggling for a cart, you could take it up to level 6 and use it on 2 tracks in week 2, so that's better. However, it's got the 2 Squeaky Clean Sprints, the Squeaky Sprint R, which is in ranked, and then the RT, which is not, and then 4 cities, so not very valuable start. But like, look, the value of supers is not, hey, does it have a lot of tracks? Is it good for your account? Blah blah. The value of a super is like, hey, can I use this for ranked and avoid spending high-end tickets? And in that case, you absolutely can. It is a small hitbox, but I mean, if you really don't want to spend tickets on leveling up a high-end cart, this will absolutely get you by. this next week.
Awesome, man. And as we transit, actually, no, we got one more cart. If you were already bored out of your out of tears on the purple rattle buggy carts, let's talk about the Goo Goo Gold cart. What's its
Okay,
starting
so it
coverage?
has all of the drawbacks of a buggy or a goo goo buggy cart, combined with the advantages of gold cards. We know how good those are. Yeah, starting. This is a gold pass gift. Probably
Could
dead on arrival.
could this be the
90
worst gold
bucks,
card of them
gold
all?
card, gold pass gift. Starting with 5 cities. One older retro in Baby Park T. It does have 3 recent retros: Mushroom Bridge R, and Baby Park RT. None of those are unranked, and it's got one of the new nitros non-ranked. It has 2 ranked tracks, but Bangkok Rush 2 RT is a level 8 unlock, so this one you can probably safely completely ignore.
Well, good. I'm glad we lost those 10 seconds there talking about it.
Exactly.
We do have, which by the way, Ansel, what's your favorite great sale, man? I think we're gonna ask this as
What is my favorite great sale?
Yeah,
So I'm a huge fan of the Starry Great Sale. I actually never got on the Black Great Sale bandwagon back in the day.
What?
It's just my account just worked out that way. I know that's kind of like not investing in Yellow Off-Roader or 8-Bit 1-Up or any of the iconic items, but it just never ended up working out for me. So Starry Great Sale was really great for my free-to-play account. I think it was my first triple cap glider. So I'm a big fan of that one. I really love the wavy great sale or the gravy sale, which you've been calling it. And I'm looking forward to see how that one develops. And then this one too. I think this one looks great as well. I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's kind of cartoony, but I think it's really cool and it's from a good sort of family. Yeah, so the Dolphin Great Sale, or Dolph Sailgren, as we've been calling it.
Nice.
2 new nitros, 2 recent retros, 1 old retro, and 5 cities. I would say 4 out of its what do I have? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 out of its 10 tracks are valuable tracks starting out. So that's Baby Park RT, Mushroom Bridge RT, Squeaky Clean Sprints N, and Squeaky Clean Sprint T. Unfortunately, 2 of those are level 6 and level 8 unlocks of Baby Park RT and Mushroom Bridge RT. And then it only has, it has 2 rank tracks: Squeaky Clean Sprints N in week 1 and Bangkok Rush 2 RT in week 2. I would say the starting value is medium, not great, not bad.
All right. Man, I think it's pretty cool. I just love the fact that they're basically saying, hey, this is some marketing space. We'll just throw a big dolphin on here, call it a day. I like the yellow as well. I mean, I don't know, something about the color scheme makes me excited about it too. But good, just looking at the chat, one of the things that's a good point is obviously we've talked about it all a lot, but for those newer players, we're not big fans of green shell plus gliders. Those whether you believe it or not, it I did on my reaction. I literally pulled up this glider. I think it was maybe the cat parafoil, and I literally the first frenzy I got was a green shell. So I'm a firm believer that you get the skills at a higher rate, and the green shell is one of the worst ones to have from a skill. Now here's the thing: if you are a newer player, Nintendo does like to give green shell gliders like a wider base of coverage. It gives typically like more tracks or some harder tracks to cover, but it's at the cost of having a not plus skill. So just keep that in the back of your mind for those new to the game. We're always trying to welcome those new to what things that we have already known for a long period of time. Good, and I'll say hello to those in the chat here once we wrap up. The very last item, which is probably one of the coolest looking items in the game. However, what's the starting coverage look like, Antilev? Is this one of the biggest like gut punches or like little like trickster? Like I mean, are we all falling for this thing, falling in love, and then they get us hook, line, and sinker like they always do?
Here's my problem with this glider. It actually has a very strong start, I would say. I wasn't so enthusiastic with the Dolph Sailgren because like the start compared to this one, the soap glider is not as good. The thing that's annoying about this one is it has 4 rank tracks, but it's a week 2 spotlight, and apparently, according to people I've talked to in Discord, it doesn't show up randomly in the spotlight shop. So there's no way to acquire it for week 1. So 2 of those ranked tracks are wasted because you're not going to be able to use it in week 1, which is really unfortunate. Because if you were able to somehow get a hold of it in the first week, it would be definitely one to gamble on. Starting with 10 tracks. 3 of the Squeaky Clean Sprint RT, R, and T. One of those is in rank. That's the week 2, the R version. It doesn't have N, but almost covers all of them. 2 recent retros. So Peach Circuit RT. Peach Circuit RT is an absolute pain to cover on all fronts. That's going to be like the most valuable buff for any item getting that track. Ranked week 2, and it is tough to cover that track on all 3 slots. It's got 1 older retro, Baby Park R, 2 older retros, sorry, Baby Park R, Baby Park T, and 3 cities, 2 of which are in ranks, but unfortunately 1 is week 1. It's unfortunate because it would have 3 ranked tracks at level 1 and 1 at level 6. As it stands, it still has 2 ranked tracks week 2 at level 1, and has a very strong start. I would say 5 out of its 10 tracks are valuable, and one of the city tracks is even a newer city in Athens Dash 2RT. So this would be my pick for 1 to kind of gamble, on this tour.
Yeah, I like it. All right, but we're going to get to the Spotlight Shop here in a second, but I want to make sure, since we're live, to give a shout out to those who have joined us and taken time out of whatever time of day it is across the world. But I see Breeden. What's going on, man? Hopefully you're doing well. I see, Nap. What's going on, Nap? Yeah, he's very surprised that this is the 6th largest cart in the game. Talking about that Dolphin. Yeah, I see Raz. What's going on, Raz? Hopefully you're doing well. I see Crested Peak. I see MKT Fan enjoying the tour so far. Appreciate that. Marco, High Mileage, Low Rent, Extreme Cheese. Hopefully, I think that's everybody. Thanks again for joining us. Appreciate you doing that. Now, for this daily Spotlight Shop, so we did not really get into this at all on the reaction. So I'd like to take maybe about 5 to 10 minutes or so. Break this down. I was very simple with the drivers, really. I mean, it's Ty Daisy, maybe Toad Tourist, just in case you missed him. He's doing pretty well, but not quite as. I mean, Giant Banana. I mean, it's going to be tough against the Mii's and everything. But I think Toad, Astronaut, and Poochie, and Light Blue, Shy Guy Explorer. These are some really strong options for you to get alongside Gold Charging Chuck. And so I think really, those are kind of the top 5 drivers. I just left it at that. I could have thrown in Beach Vacation, could have thrown in Rosalina Swimwear, which would be a really good option for ranked. But I think when it comes to using your rubies, you got to think smartly. And I think you got to use it towards Mii's. You got to start using it towards. I think Toad Astronaut's made a fighting chance to fight for his job as one of the drivers of the year. So we'll see how it all turns out. I got really excited for carts. I probably might have overclicked a little here on some of the carts that I really like, but Jumbo Jetter there in the higher frequency. I did throw a Jukebox Buggy in there. It's back. It's a double feature, and it was one of the meta carts a year or 2 ago. Very, very strong. It is like right there on the fringe of the minimum viable hitbox. Keep that in mind. But I like how it's alongside the Armored Rider. These are 2 carts that have been around for a long, long time, but have just been doing really well in the meta. Obviously, the Armored Rider has the hitbox advantage. And really, at this point in time, I'm even looking at it and saying, should I throw tickets on that bad boy? Because he's just been such a beast, and it looks so cool as well. And the Flowery Badwagon, which has been great for quite some time. I think Blazing Eagle, Camo Tanuki Cart, Mumu Off-Roader, Pink Speeder. No surprise there. I like how they're all kind of 4 right next to each other. Those have been really, really strong this year. On the row right below that, I got the Blooper Shuttle, which is a great tour for it. The Tyco Drum Dasher, the Sakura Sports Coupe, Pink Comet. Pink Comet seems to be the best Comet right now of those reskins, which I'm absolutely loving. I took it to 8 triple. I do have to give a little shout out to Matt Allridge. He and I, right before this episode, recorded alongside Flo a ticket time analysis, and let's just say that the Pink Comet was the number 1 cart that I should be quad capping. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I don't want to spoil anything else, but go ahead and watch it when it comes out here, probably later this weekend. We'll see about that. And then Silver Cupid's Arrow, and then Blue Crawley cart. I can't say enough about this Blue Crawley. It's been absolutely crushing. I threw a couple there for some of the gold carts. But I really think that the Gold Bruiser is probably the only one that you really have to kind of take a look at. As always, these little stud rubies are just kind of a nudge. I would highly recommend you looking at the spreadsheets, looking at the trackers, and looking at some of these items. I think we're always trying to look for kind of a process of elimination, kind of look at a smaller list. And so this helps you maybe digest it, but maybe it doesn't. I think the goal at the end of the day is you should be looking at your tracker. That's going to help you make the best decision. But I think Blue Crawly Kart and Blazing Eagle definitely stand out alongside the Blooper Shuttle. Those are the kind of the top 3 carts that I would highly recommend looking at for obvious reasons. As for the gliders, the 8-bit 1-up mushroom has been going bonkers. I kind of threw a very generous ruby towards the tropical balloons last tour. Panned out. This tour, it's doing well and ranked on a tougher track to cover. Fire Manta, can't say enough about this guy. It's been a slow burn, literally for the Fire Manta. It was a special pipe item. You can't forget about that. Nintendo always loves to show some love that direction, but it's almost been kind of like I'm thinking about like the record setter or something, where it's just been like it's been there for a while. It's doing really well, and it's not going away. As for that next row, we got the Autumn Leaves, the wonderful Garnet, Yellow Hard Hat. Threw the Fuzzy Kite on there. That was probably kind of like first out there, but I did want to include it. It's been doing pretty well this summer. Wonderful Diamond, the 8-bit Super Mushroom, the 8-bit Block, and the 8-bit Goomba have all been doing pretty well. All 3 of those obviously in the top 15. I threw the nice little ruby towards the Smiley Glider. I know a lot of people really like that. It's doing okay, kind of right there on the fringe, but I do really like the look of it. It's very unique. I got to throw some love Nintendo's way. Piranha Plant Balloons. This is not in the top 10 right now, but it's been doing really well. I think it would pair really well with a lot of accounts. Lava Rocks, man, it's not necessarily breaking the meta in the top 10, but it's still doing really well. Had a double feature here, I think last tour, and it's featured again, obviously, or else it wouldn't be on this list. And Nabbit Parachute, and then my sneaky pick was the Gold Blue Masks. I don't know why I like it. I had to throw 1 on that gold items, otherwise it just looks very bleak. But Antilev, what's your thoughts on the daily spotlight shop? Are any of these worth getting? And if so,
honestly, yeah, no. I mean, I was looking through and trying to look with a kind of a critical eye, and honestly, there's maybe a couple of gliders like Mint-Berry Balls or something like that, or the Yoshi's Cookies, just snuck into the top 25. But for the most part, I think you hit all the ones. You hit all the good ones. I don't really see anything here that is, in and around the top 25, and because I think we talk about top 10, top 15, but there's so many carts and gliders and especially carts in the game right now. Anything is top 25 or better, it's still worth talking about. Like the Red Off-Roader, for example, is ranked 22. It's still an absolutely great cart. There's nothing wrong with that. So I really don't have a lot to add. I do think it's nice that Ty Daisy is finally made it into the spotlight shop. For those who don't have her, probably sure, the best ACR driver in the game if you exclude the Mii's. Yes, Hero, I did something with my hair. Nothing really to add. You're very good at this stuff.
Well, I mean, thankfully you make it very easy with your top 10, which we'll get to momentarily. But before we do, we'll get to the buffs. So one of the changes we made, mainly to save time, and hopefully we can record these sometimes on Thursdays, but really just to try to kind of condense it. Sometimes less is more. So we've kind of just given you some highlights, and hopefully if you want to find out more, Larry 98's Sheets has all of the buffs, and I highly recommend going there. I think it's just literally LarrySheets.com. So or Larry98Sheets.com. But highly recommend taking a look at that. That'll have a great resource. They'll also try to put a link here in the description. I will, for Larry's sake, I will promise to put it in the description. But we do have some drivers. So I'm with more buffs than others. So before we get too far into this, this is kind of a very unique tour in that we have cities, we got nitros, we have assume tracks. I think we're starting to get a little blurred when it comes to what's an assume track, what's not an assume track. So I'd love to get from you, Antilev, some of the best buffs. I've been kind of looking at myself, just like which tracks do I really want to get? Like, for instance, Athens 2RT and Bangkok 2RT came out, as city tracks in ranked, but actually both of them are really cluttered. There's a lot of options on there. There's a number of drivers, and then of course Perry Promenade. It's been around forever. It's got a lot of drivers. So when I'm looking at some of the best courses to get, if I had to have 3 good ones, 3 bad ones, the stud. I'm trying to like create a new segment here, but like the stud ranked tracks that you really want to get those buffs on, to me, would be Squeaky Clean Sprint, Peach Circuit RT, and Squeaky Clean Sprint R. The ones you don't necessarily want would be Bangkok Rush 2RT, Athens Dash 2RT, and Paris Promenade. Like when I was looking at this, like Bangkok Rush 2RT, you got question mark block Misu. So if you got going into the Mies, you got him. He's crushing it. You got gold charging Chuck, and that just kind of thwarts any progress from Wiggler Me, from Nabbit Me, from Toad Taurus. It just it kind of sucks those buffs from them. They'd love to have that buff, and so for a lot of the newer players, you probably should be going with gold charging Chuck or question block Chuck Me if you have him. Whereas I will say the carts and gliders a little bit harder to cover, but you got a super in there. You have Wonderful Garnet, you have Nabbit Parachute. So I don't know. For me, it's like when I'm looking at some of these. Squeaky Clean. I love how Rosalina Swimwear. They love how they brought her back. She's the only coin box driver up there. She's probably going to be your best option. However, she's very old. You probably, if you're a newer player, started since 2021, you probably don't have her at a high level. I only have her at level 7. She's one that didn't make a lot of sense. There was always a lot of overlap with her and Pink Old Peach and Peach Vacation back in the day. So. Ansem, without further ado, what are some of the top buffs? What should people be clamoring for when they see the picture, the image underneath their favorite driver?
Yes. Okay, so this is good because this is a difficult tour. I will say because of the amount of returning cities, and we base the value of the track types based on how much they actually come back, but that's measured over the past year. So we have a lot of cities returning, so the value of cities as terms of the tracks that items have did go up a little bit. So anything with a lot of cities might have gotten like a decent bump in the ratings. So cities are worth a little bit more, but they're still not worth, really near, before they were worth maybe, I don't know, 1/8 of a normal retro track. Now it's closer to a quarter. So more, definitely more valuable. The most valuable buffs this tour, number 1 buff is Rosalina Swimwear getting Squeaky Clean Sprint N as an exclusive coin boxer. And then number 2 is Rosalina Chef getting Squeaky Clean Sprint R. I think also a plus skill exclusive for her. The third most valuable buff is Yeehaw Wagon getting Peach Circuit
Yeehaw!
RT. This track is I cannot express how much this track is paywalled. It is a really brutally difficult track to cover. There was only 5 buffs on it in the whole tour out of 345 buffs. Only 5 items, drivers, carts, and gliders together got buffed on Peach Circuit RT. Number 4 is the light green Me racing suit, also getting buffed on Peach Circuit RT. And then we have a 3-way tie at number 5. 3 gliders that got Peach Circuit RT, Mario Brothers Parafoil, Mosaic Starshoot, and the new Pink Bubble Balloon. Those are your top 5 most valuable buffs. So what we're looking for is absolutely those 2 new Squeaky Clean Sprint rank tracks. We're looking for Peach Circuit RT. Those are definitely the top 3. After that, we're looking for any Mushroom Bridge variants, any Peach Circuit variant, because those are the newer ones, and then any Bowser's Castle 4 variants. The Squeaky Clean Sprints, other ones that are non-ranked are not worth as much because we, in the model we don't give nitros that new track bonus, so they're worth a little bit less, and they don't have a rank bonus as well. I am thinking about reviewing that and making nitros their own separate category because we have enough now, but I need to do more research before we put that into effect. So that's what we're looking for. So when we talk about the buffs this tour, Nintendo really spread the buffs out. We had 345 buffs this tour, 156 on retros, 131 on the new Nitro Squeaky Clean Sprints, and 158 on cities. That's returning items only, that's not counting the new items. Out of that, I was looking for items so no items got 2 buffs on rank tracks that are Squeaky Clean Sprint and Squeaky Clean Sprint R or Peach Circuit RT. So no single item got buffed on 2 of those. And then after that, I looked for which items got 2 valuable buffs. So that's those tracks which I just mentioned, those 10 more recent retros and the 2 Squeaky Clean Sprint ranks. Only 9 items got 2 of those valuable buffs. So those are the ones I'll focus on when we go through the buffs. On this page, Wiggler got 2. We got Mushroom Bridge R and Squeaky Clean Sprint N. And the Waluigi Me racing suit got 2 as well. Bowser's Castle 4 and Mushroom Bridge R.
Awesome, man. Let's take a little time out. Huge shout out to Alchemist, who gifted a membership to To G Siegel, who probably has won more gifted memberships than anyone else in the history of the Stud Fam. So glad to have you back there, G Siegel. Like I said, there's a lot of great points. One I did want to point out, Pepper Rabbit mentioned how the video with Matt and Flo will be premiering in about 2 hours. So hopefully the rundown will be done. I know also, want to go ahead and give a plug to our friend Antilev, who you might see here without a hat. He will be also premiering and streaming as well tonight. So if you want to check him out after the rundown, definitely check out that. We'll try to drop a link in as well. But let's get into the buffs. We got Spartakong on the top of the list here. He's got mostly cities, though, unfortunately. The Bowser's Castle for great buff. So you got that one phenomenal buff. The downside, though, got the Athens, the Paris. I don't know, man. We'll see how things pan out. But I think if we do kind of start to see cities all over the place, and maybe it's like 2023 cities have a different value than older cities or something like that. This could end up being good for him. But right now, I kind of give this a B-. I'm really happy about, though, the Bowser's Castle 4 for the Spartakong fans. He's pretty. I mean, I just hope that they don't do him wrong. I hope they don't do him dirty. I hope they give him some really good buffs as time goes on. As for the drivers with 4 buff, my boy Waluigi, he's got 15 assumed tracks already. He got that same Bowser's Castle 4. He also got the Mushroom Ridge R, which you definitely happy about getting Mushroom Ridge tracks in general. He did get a Paris and an Athens. But nothing in ranked, so my tickets will hold off on throwing it on him. I'm definitely nipping at the bud, though. We got Wiggler. He did get the new Squeaky Clean Sprint, which is an okay track. Obviously, it's in ranked. It's a track that will come back up again. But there's some other items on there that you might use over him. It could be worse. Aside that, he does get the Mushroom Ridge R. And then Yaleen got the Bowser's Castle 4 as well. Phenomenal buff for her, just the same way for Spartakong. And then she also got the Squeaky Clean Sprint T. She is in the Athens Dash 2RT. But that is a really cluttered top shelf. You have Larry Me as the best Me option there. But you also got King Mario. You got Spartakong, Yaleen, Poochie even in there. I don't know, man. It makes it really, really tough there. And then also the Bowser Me as well. So I don't know. For me, that Athens Dash, although it's in ranked, and you're happy to have that, not a great track. There's just a lot of other options. I mean, she's Boomerang though. If you like Boomerang and you like getting down and dirty in the South, go in with a girl Yaleen because she is wilding out. Talking about wilding out, we got the yellow Yoshi. That was a stretch, guys. I'm sorry. We got Yellow Yoshi. He did get the Baby Park, which is nice for him, and 3 cities. So before we move on any further, Antilev, other than making fun of some of my Southern jokes here, what's your thoughts on some of these drivers with the most buffs?
I like your Southern jokes. Yeah, so like according to the value added in the model, the only one here was top 5 is the Waluigi Me racing suit. As we said, we got really good buffs, but these I would say are mostly a case of quantity over quality. Yeah, for the most part. 4 cities from Donkey Kong, not that great. The value of cities could increase further in the future. We need to see more tours exactly like this with cities just peppered in. I think if we start getting that, then those buffs are going to be worth more. And just to point out, the new cities are worth more than older cities. It's relative, right? So if a new track is worth 20% more than an old track, and a city track is only worth a quarter of a retro, then 20% of a quarter is not that much.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, so there you go. I will say this Athens Dash 2RT, I'd love to get your opinion on it. I don't think it's a great boombox track. It just got one coinbox driver on that middle shelf. Compared to, I think it was Squeaky Clean. I was looking at, I think it was Toad, Space Toad or Spode, as they like to call him. And there's like 4 or 5 coinbox drivers on the middle shelf. That's like what I imagine. And then plenty of coins all over the track. I don't think Athens Dash 2RT is a great boomerang track.
No, not with tokens because they fall through the grates.
It's tough, man. It's really tough. Yeah. So it's nice that there's a plus skill. And I mean, I just think that you'd much rather walk away with King Mario and just call it a day. That would be my personal
or
opinion.
Larry and me with the
Of course for Larry Me. But again, you're going to be running into the same problems with him. I'll be going in with Larry Me. I just, I would have wanted more from Spartakong and from Yalene. It's like, yeah, maybe if you didn't go in with King Mario, you're really happy. But I don't know. I'm not considering that buff a good one in my opinion. But I mean, it is a ranked buff, and it is nice. It's new, and there's not that many other top skill options compared to, like Paris Promenade or something. That would be way worse. But overall, yeah, I'm still in a wait and see with Spartakong and Yalene. I hope both of them end up having a much better life as tours go on. We do have drivers with 3 buffs. So talking about somebody on a rough tour, Luigi Gold Knight got 3 cities, none in ranked, but he is climbing up the rank ladder. He's number 40, 8 on our list, 16 assumed tracks. We do have the Wiggler Me, who does have the Bangkok Rush 2 RT, which is fine. There's a question block head there, so if you're all in on Miis like myself, I mean, I've invested in both these guys. Just makes things tough. I think you definitely would rather go with question block head. But there's also some other options there. Toad Taurus, the Gold Charging Chuck. Just makes it really tough to get excited. I think this is kind of a bad buff for Wiggler Me, even though it's a rank buff. But you're really happy with Mushroom Bridge R. That's a phenomenal buff for him. A couple other Miis in here, some supers. Do need to take a time out just to welcome Demented, who joined as on the Not a Dud tier. Happy to have you part of the Stud fam. Excited. I see also Alec Berman. I see there's someone else I saw as well who just joined the chat. Sorry if I missed you guys, but thanks again for joining us on this afternoon. And then for drivers with 2 buffs, Larry Me. I think this is actually a really good tour for Larry Me. I think he's had a couple rough tours. This is a good one for him. He's up to 23 assumed tracks, number 7 on our list. Got the Athens Dash 2 RT. Now, again, not a great boomerang track, but he's the only plus skill Me, really. I think from that perspective, you got to really like him. I mean, Bowser Me is the closest top skill to him there. So this is, in a way, like the best premium exclusive for a Me driver to have is have this Me exclusive. And I think, we kind of talked about it on Kart Talk. It's been actually one of the more riveting card talks that we've had even this year. A great way to start off season 3. But we talked about this. I mean, a lot of these Miis are not getting usage in ranked. So if you're like a ranked person, that's all you have to invest in. I mean, maybe the Miis aren't for you. It really has not been panning out great for all the Mii drivers for ranked. But those people who are investing in every single Mii, those a lot of times are whales. And sometimes they care more about all cup rankings. So in some ways, it's almost kind of catering to the styles, which I think is really, really interesting. And again, highly recommend going back and checking that out. It's worthwhile. But Athens Dash 2 RT and Baby Park R, I mean, I consider this a pretty big tour for Larry Me. Other drivers with 2 buffs, you got Toad Taurus there with the Bangkok Rush 2 RT. And that's a really good one for him. Birdo Red, if you're into supers, got the Bangkok Rush 2 RT. One of the best options there. It's probably just better just to grab, if you're struggling with a top skill driver on there. I mean, in some cases it might be better just to take that one to level 8 and then just crush the track with the Birdo Egg. Certainly an option there. And then just to kind of round out the rest of the drivers, here's some of the drivers, most notable drivers with 1 buff. We kind of just try to keep it as condensed as possible. But Gold Charging Chuck, he got the Squeaky Clean Sprint RT, which is a good buff for him. Larry Wintertime got the Squeaky Clean Sprint T. And then Astrotoad, as we talked about, got the Squeaky Clean Sprint. This was a phenomenal buff. Again, not everyone has Rosalina. There's like 4 or 5 coin box drivers on that middle shelf. Plenty of coins all around the track. Definitely a 200 action count track for our boy Spode. You got Poochie, who's in ranked, and then on top of that, got the Squeaky Clean Sprint T. Got White Tanuki Mario, who's been climbing up in our top 10, back into our top 10, may I say, with this Squeaky Clean Sprint RT. You'll notice a lot of these here are a lot of this orange color, which Larry's done a great job of kind of highlighting as this new Nitro track. And then you did get Light Blue Shy Guy getting a nice, very efficient Squeaky Clean Sprint buff. Cheap Me, which kind of is like the reverse meta, the anti-Antilev. I'm not sure if you caught that, Antilev. Did you catch that on Kart Talk? There's a new term for Nintendo's demonic side where they kind of have this anti-Antilev out there trying to kind of break the meta, and it kind of seems that Cheap Me might be one of the children of the anti-Antilev.
I invested in Cheap Me last time.
Ooh,
double six and double.
Maybe you are the Antilev and anti-Antilev, man. That's.
I mean, maybe me and Nintendo are like, we're like this,
Yeah, dude. This is like in Scooby Doo when you're pulling off the mask. You're like both. I appreciate that. Rosalina Chef, she's doing pretty well. She's been climbing up as well. She mover and shaker this tour with this buff with Squeaky Clean Sprint R. Cat Mario got the Squeaky Clean Sprint, which by the way is a tongue twister in and of itself. And then you got a couple other Miis.
Just call it Toilet Track.
Toilet Track, the crap pretend pull track that we always wanted. Exactly. Pink Mii suit got the Squeaky Clean RT. It's a ranked option for me. I think it's on Peach Circuit RT. I'm thinking about investing in her, but I remember there was we'll talk about the level unlocks here in a little bit, but man, it just looks. I just love the way that she looks with the pink. All right, drivers with 2 buffs and 1 buff. What's your thoughts, Antilev?
Yeah. So and in going back to the ones with 3, so in terms of value added, Toadette Mii Racing Suit with her 3 buffs actually had the most value added, even compared to all those drivers with 4 and 5 buffs, because she gets 3 really good tracks: Peach Circuit T, Mushroom Bridge R, and then the ranked track Squeaky Clean Sprint. So that's really good. She's up to rank number 100. I don't know why I didn't get into the slide. Must have been an error in the sheet. On top of that, I think other than that, I really wanted to mention the light green Mii Racing Suit, which got, I don't think it was on here, but it got 2 very valuable buffs in Mushroom Bridge and Peach Circuit RT, which is that week 2 rank track, which is
it's up there in the corner. I didn't talk about it.
Getting in ranked and probably being your best option on Athens-RT if you have a decent inventory of Mii suits is a really important one. Also, him getting Baby Park R, that's a great boombox track. I think PD Piranha is there for regular boomerang drivers, but if you have Larry Mii at a higher level, that's going to be absolutely your best option. It is an older track, but it's Larry Mii Green Racing is top right. Yeah, sorry. I also got Paris Promenade too, which is also interesting. Luigi Gold Knight disappointing, 3 cities and no ranked. That's really, really unfortunate for him. Other than that, yeah, as you said, the Rosalina Chef buff, that's the second most valuable buff, as I mentioned before, in the entire tour. So that is super efficient from her. That's really great. Yeah, other than that, I don't the pink Mii Racing Suit, also a nice valuable buff. That's the one you were talking about. Other than that, yeah, I don't really think Morton Mii is disappointing as well. It has not been keeping up with Larry, which is unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, Morton was okay last tour, but yeah, this tour he's definitely not doing so hot. Larry's definitely outpaced him this tour for sure.
And then Gold Charging Chuck up to 40 assumed tracks.
That's crazy.
For a heavy coin boxer. That's insane. That's insane. It's not ranked, but I mean, at this point, like, who cares?
Yeah, dude, he's crushing it.
But that's all I got.
I have not invested in him, and he's been a thorn in my side for the pit crew chief. I will say
and me both. I think he's like level 4 on both my accounts, and I've used him a few times, but lots of regrets there.
40 tracks, that's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, good point there. I will say this is, as Crested Peak mentions, this is the first time Gold Mii has not been ranked in a tour in quite some time. It's I don't know if that's for things to come, but he's off this tour. He's kind of taking a vacation. We'll see if that's the case in future tours. Let's move to carts. Carts with 4 buffs. We got the Silver Cupidero. We have the Silver Warrior Wagon, Black Shield Speedster, Gold Shield Speedster, Waluigi Racer Mark II, Boo Pipes, Chain Chomp Chariot, Gold Pipes, and Wiggler Egg. These are some of the most notable. Other than the Wiggler Egg, these have been some hot topic carts. These are some of the carts that kind of came out all around the same time with a big hitbox, and we were wondering what was going to happen with them. So starting with the Silver Cupidero, I got the Baby Park R, and then which, by the way, a lot of the Baby Parks in general have smaller carts. They're about a bunch of Goo Goo Buggies and Streetles, and so like Silver Cupidero. Anytime you have these larger carts that are in the meta at all, it's always nice to get the Baby Parks with large hitboxes. We got the Squeaky Clean Sprint, which is one of the best buffs in the game. Got some old Paris tracks, which is fine. Overall, though, I kind of give this an A-. I'm really happy with the Squeaky Clean Sprint. That's a really tough track for a lot of carts to cover. And the Silver Warrior Wagon with the Bowser's Castle 4 and the Mushroom Bridge T, but not in ranked. Outside of that, you get the Black Shield Speedster, getting this Paris Promenade RT, which is a ranked track. But again, it's a Paris track, and then got another Paris track and an Athens track, but did get the Bowser's Castle 4. I think a little lackluster, probably just a B normal grade there for its buffing. I'd probably take though the Shielded Speedster over the Gold Shielded Speedster's buffs this tour. It got all cities, which is kind of unfortunate for an item that has this pedigree of coming out of the Premium Challenge Gold item, and so we'll see what happens in future tours. It had a pretty good tour last tour, but this tour it's okay. Certainly, it looks beautiful, and I invested in it. I took it to 8 triple. It's one of my favorite investments. We'll see what happens in future tours. This is kind of a weird tour in general because we got these like a mixed bag of all these tracks. We'll see what happens. I probably wouldn't read into too much of this tour in general across all these items. Waluigi Racer did not get any ranked tracks. Boo Pipes didn't get any ranked tracks. Chain Chomp Chariot did get one. It was Athens, which makes a lot of sense. Gold Pipes certainly might be one of the winners here. It got Athens Dash 2RT, which is in ranked, but there's a lot of options on that track. But did get the Mushroom Bridge RT, which is a great buff there. And then last but not least, Wiggler Egg. Although its size did get some good buffs there. What's your thoughts on these cards with the most buffs? Which, by the way, you know what? Actually, how about you hold that? There's a second page. My apologies. But these are all, I'll skim past these. None of these are really in the meta that much. I think some of these items just really are kind of lackluster. You do have a super in here, this yellow Turbo Yoshi, but didn't get anything in ranked. Some people might be keeping their eye on these wagons, the Desert Rose and the Yeehaw. Neither one, the Yeehaw wagon actually got a pretty decent one. This Peach Circuit RT we talked about was being one of the best buffs. That's a pretty big win for the Yeehaw wagon. Desert Rose wagon got the Bangkok Rush 2 RT and a little bonus Peach Circuit T, which we talked about that being a pretty good buff as well. What's your thoughts on these carts with 4 buffs?
Yeah, so looking at the items that got like multiple valuable buffs, the first one I want to mention is the Silver Warrior wagon. Got Bowser's Castle 4 and Mushroom Bridge T. So no rank tracks, but good value. The third most value added of any cart in this tour. Then also strangely enough, the Gold Fishbone Fairy got really good buffs. Bowser's Castle 4R and Squeaky Clean Sprint R, which is ranked, are like leading that way. It's the second most value added. And then the Yeehaw wagon, which also got basically carried by this Peach Circuit RT buff, which is like hugely valuable. And the 3 other buffs were not that interesting, but because it got that one in 4 buffs, it has actually the most value added according to the model. Other than that, I wanted to mention the Blue Sub Scooter as the last one. Mushroom Bridge T and Squeaky Clean Sprint R in ranked, 2 very valuable buffs. Unfortunately, the other 2 tracks are both 2 Paris Promenade variants, which are not as valuable, but still pretty good value added from those 2 tracks. That's all I have on cards.
So let me ask you this: between Silver Cupid's Arrow, Silver Warrior Wagon, Black Shield Speedster, Gold Shield Speedster, Waluigi Mark II, Boo Pipes, Gold Pipes, and Chain Chomp Chariot. Like these are all some items that are like the fans are really enjoying. Some people all went in on the Boo Pipes because they're like, oh, this is like the ultimate cart in one of these Mario Kart series. And then some people go into the Boo Pipes or the Gold Pipes because they're like, man, we love Gold Pipes. Maybe Nintendo's
got to be good, right?
They got to be good. And then the Shield Speedsters just look absolutely insane. One was a commemorative item, one was a premium challenge plus. And then we even have so the Cupid's Arrows had their own dynamic. I mean, would you like? How would you take all this news? How would you break down these buffs? Would it all be still kind of like, let's just wait and see one more tour to see what happens, or are you panicking with any of these?
So
or what's your thoughts?
Like Silver Cupid's Arrow and Silver Warrior Wagon, I would be ready to. I've already invested in Silver Cupid's Arrow. I'm just putting that out there. Not that you should, but me personally, I have done that. I have also invested in Gold Shielded Speedster like pretty early on. That's been, I would say, pretty disappointing. If I like to make an investment in an item when they make a big jump, when they get a really like good series of buffs. So like the one I will be looking at this tour is the Silver Warrior Wagon. I think it went up 22 spots from 45 to 23.
Yep.
With some like really valuable buffs. That's probably the one I will be focusing on the most of these like large hitbox cards at the moment.
Yeah, so like literally, Alex Bremen asked that same exact question. What are you guys doing with these shield speedsters with these pipes? I think the verdict is just hold out one more tour, or two more tours
Yeah,
before you
I'm
invest.
waiting on the shielded speedsters. I mean, like I already have the gold one at 6 double cap, but it has really not shown me enough to want to take it any further than that.
Yeah, I just will hold out one more tour. I know it's exciting
Mm-hmm.
to see 4 buffs, but this was a squirrely tour to get all those buffs. So
Mm-hmm.
let's get into the carts with 3 buffs, and there's 4, 3 of which are gold. So maybe we just not talk about those because outside gold, I will say gold sushi racer did get a ranked track. You got the squeaky clean sprint R, which is a tough track to cover, but we're all avoiding these gold carts that don't have any significance, special significance, like out of a gold pipe or something special, like a premium challenge, etc. I don't know. I'm not getting excited about any of those. I will say this red comet, alongside the pink comet, doing all right. It's not in ranked, but it got some really good buffs, both Baby Park R and Bowser's Castle 4. As for carts with 2 buffs, you got the Jumbo Jetter, got the Bangkok Rush 2 RT, Black Jingle Bell, which we got a little frisky with, got a little excited last tour. It's okay. It is number 16 on our list, 30 assumed tracks. Got Athens Dash and Squeaky Clean Sprint RT. So nothing necessarily to write home about those buffs per se. Gold Cupid Arrow did get the Athens Dash 2 RT, but both of its buffs are city tracks. And yeah, we'll just finish out the cards. Cards with 1 buff. These are some of the notable ones out under the top 50, and we try to make this a little easier for you to see. Just kind of highlighting some of these meta carts. We got Blue Crawly Cart. Without further ado, it is the number 1 card in the game. 35 assumed tracks. Squeaky Clean Sprint T is its buff this tour, but certainly definitely familiar with the rank circuit. You'll be using it plenty of different places. Yeah, including that the Athens Dash 2 RT. Blooper Shuttle did get the Squeaky Clean Sprint, which is a really good buff for the Blooper Shuttle. One of the best buffs in this tour. Rainbow Street Oak did get the Squeaky Clean Sprint T. Tycho Drum Dasher got the Bangkok 2R, which is not ranked. And then Pink Comet got the Paris Promenade 2R. And then, Rainbow Pipe Buggy to get the Bangkok Rush 2R. Again, none of these are really great buffs outside of the Blooper Shuttle, Squeaky Clean Sprint. But some of these, this is a tour where maybe even getting 1 buff is a good thing. Maybe you just would rather just get more buffs in a future tour. But
yeah, absolutely.
Angela, what's your thoughts on the cards with 3, 2, and 1 buffs?
So I was checking their rankings for the most value added from buffs from these things, and actually, the highest up the list that's listed here is the Red Turbo Birdo. It got 2 really good buffs. You got Baby Park RT and Mushroom Bridge R, which are newer retro tracks. It's a tiny supercar, but that is it just goes to show you how spread out the buffs are this tour. There's a lot of buffs, but not quite as many as we've had in past tours, and really spread out. So I don't think there's really a lot more to mention. And all these cities are really kind of tanking the value. They're the ones you want to be looking at, especially Peach Circuit RT. But there's only 1 returning cart that got buffed on it, which is the Yeehaw Wagon. So yeah, I don't really know what to say.
Man, I can say that, yeah, they're trying to make some of the things we want even more coveted, and I mean probably rightfully so. Let's move into gliders. Gliders with 5 buffs. We have the Wiggler Parachute and the Wavy Great Sail. Both interesting gliders that have a pretty cool, unique look to them. Obviously, Wavy. There's plenty of Great Sails out there, but this Wavy one, a lot of people got really excited about last tour. To get the Athens Dash 2 RT, and then this Wiggler Parachute, got the Bangkok Rush 2 RT. But along that, to get the Baby Park and Mushroom Bridge, which you definitely like, alongside Squeaky Clean Sprint T. So overall, I mean, I think both of these 2 gliders in this mixed bag tour, not bad. Could be better, but I think it's just the nature of the tour here. We do have a number of gliders with 4 buffs, quite a lot actually. Red Emblem did get the Athens Dash 2 RT. Gold Origami Glider, nothing in ranked, but got the Bowser's Castle 4R, which we haven't really talked much about yet. Mario Bros. Prayer for You talked about this one. This one's a great set of buffs here. Might be A+ here. Got Bowser's Castle 4, Mushroom Bridge T, and Peach Circuit RT. So this is one where last tour we were already giving up on it. I was like, this thing is like Nintendo got us so hyped for no good reason, and here it is, probably getting the best buffs of the tour. I will say another one that got some good set of buffs. Your Mosaic Starshoot, I'll give it to you. Peach Circuit RT and Baby Park T, and then Squeaky Clean RT as well. So I know you've been hyping up on it. I've been a little slow to the game. I might change my mind after this tour. This is a pretty good tour for it. Yeah. The other ones doesn't look like anything in ranked, so they're pretty cool. They're new. Some got better buffs than others. Kind of like the Gold Flappy Wings getting this Peach Circuit R and Baby Park. You also kind of like this Jelly Shoot getting the Mushroom Bridge R and the Squeaky Clean RT. But I don't know, man. I think the two winners here on this page, Mario Bros. Parafoil and Mosaic Starshoot. What's your thoughts on gliders with 5 and 4 buffs?
Yeah, so the 5 buff items, the Gravy Sail and the Wiggler Parachute, they're like okay, but they didn't get ranked. They got ranked tracks which are city, so it's not. It would have been better if they got the non-city ranked tracks. Yeah, in terms of you nailed it and you guessed absolutely right. The Mario Brothers Parafoil, the model likes this tour like head and shoulders above everything else. It's way ahead in terms of value added, and it's looking really good. It's not that high in the rankings yet, but I think it's definitely one to keep an eye on. Super valuable buffs here. It got that Peach Circuit RT, which is just such a complete bastard of a track to get coverage on. Bowser's Castle 4, Mushroom Bridge T, also good. And Athens Dash, which is a city, but it's a newer city, so phenomenal buffs there. Also the Mosaic Starshoot, number 3 in terms of value added. Also great buffs with the Peach Circuit RT again, and then Squeaky Clean Sprint RT. Actually, the Rainbow Flappy Wings went up a lot in terms of value added as well, but I think that is more to do with the change in the model. That cities got more value because it has 13 cities already, so those cities all got a little bit of an increase in value. So it's not so much that the buffs were good, but the city's value. Other than that, I think the model likes the Jelly Shoots buffs quite a bit, and the red emblem. So we were talking about getting 2 valuable track buffs. Mario Brothers Parafoil got 3 valuable track buffs in newer retros. And or a ranked Nitro. Red Emblem is the only other glider to get 2 or more in Bowser's Castle 4 and Peach Circuit T. So that one also up there in terms of value added. Yeah, I think that's really it. The model also like Green Checkered Glider and Stealth Glider, but those won't be on the 2 buff pages. Yeah,
man, look at that segue. You gotta love that. Gliders with 3 buffs. We got 2. We got the Glittering Glider, got the Athens Dash 2 RT, and the Gold Bells did walk away with Baby Park T. Not in ranked, but a decent track to get. Yeah, this Glittering Glider, I was looking at this between this and the Fire Manta, and got some help from my friend Matt and Flo, which you'll have to check out here a little bit. I think either one, I think I'm just going to hold back a little bit longer. The Fire Manta is probably going to burn me literally again after it's been doing that for the whole year. But I don't know. I think at this point in time, just with so much city stuff going on, I'm probably going to hold back on investments, and we'll see what happens in these next couple of tours. Because I've talked about doing a top 10 run. We'll see what happens. It won't be until September at the earliest. But let's talk about this Green Checkered Glider. To get this Baby Park RT, not a ranked track, but a good one alongside the Squeaky Clean Circuit, which that's a tough track to get. Again, for me, it all comes back to this green shell. Now, I was excited about that, but those are pretty good buffs, at least those 2.
It's quietly becoming a very interesting glider. I know you don't like the skill, but two great buffs again this tour. One of the few gliders to get 2 valuable buffs.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a big fan of the checkered gliders in general. I just feel like they just look so boring.
They're kind of bland. But...
Gold checkered to get the Bowser's Castle 4R, tough track to cover. And then I'll kind of skim through these. Nothing really too exciting. The pink checkered glider might be the winner of the gliders with 2 buffs on this page. Got Baby Park T, not in ranked, but a good track overall. And then Squeaky Queen Sprint R, decent one. So again, I haven't been as excited about the checkered gliders, but this is one I've been keeping my eye on. We'll see what happens. Gold Manta glider, decent buffs too, though, with the Squeaky Clean Sprint R in ranked. And then Roy Oil Paper did get the Paris Promenade RT. To move in to wrap a bow on the rest of the glider buffs, 8-bit Super Glider did get Squeaky Clean Sprint T. Yellow Hard Hat Balloon got Squeaky Clean Sprint RT. Neither one of those in ranked, but decent tracks that may or may not come back again here soon. Nabbit Parachute got the Bangkok Rush 2 RT in ranked. So in some cases, the rich get richer a little bit on this this top half of the slide. We got 8-bit Block Glider, one of the winners of the tour. Did get one buff in a what was a squirrely tour, and it got the one buff you want, the Squeaky Clean Sprint. A tough track to cover for sure. Sakura Origami Glider was already doing really well, and then on top of that, it got the Squeaky Clean Sprint RT. So back in the top 10 for, man, it's been in the top 10 more than most gliders that, it came out, geez, like it's almost like Armored Rider style of glider where it just got buffs and buffs and buffs for a long period of time, and sustainable buffs that have kept it in and around the top 10. Gold Hard Hat Balloon, Squeaky Clean Sprint T, which is an okay buff. Certainly the nitros are okay, but overall it could be worse. Number 9 on our list, 36 assumed tracks. Calico Toe Beam Balloons, Squeaky Clean Sprint RT. 8-bit Goomba, just getting a hair beaten out by the 8-bit Block Glider. We got the Squeaky Clean Sprint T. 8-bit One Up Mushroom, got that T version as well, alongside your Fuzzy Kite. And Fuzzy Kite just unfortunately fell out the top side of the 16, but doing pretty well. Icy's Mario's Mustache got the Sprint RT. Tropical Balloons, this one's been, man, I love it. I wish it was in the top 10 because it's been absolutely bonkers for my account, especially on Cookie Land, where I'm pretty bleak on gliders, but got this Squeaky Clean Sprint on what I think it would be this or the 8-bit Block Glider, and that's like it for my account. It's really a hard one to cover. I think it also has maybe the new Dolphin Great Sale if you want to get a little frisky, that's an option. Smiley Flower Glider, number 23 on our list, got the Bangkok Rush 2T. Gold Boom Masks, I hyped it up a little bit. I hope that won't bite me in the butt, but I don't know, I'm getting a little excited about it. 33 assumed tracks, 24 on our list. Fire Manta Glider, can't speak enough good things about this glider. It's been doing really well. Here it is in ranked. That number 26 on our list is a little deceiving. Red Gold Umbrella, I debate about putting this in the top 10, or at least in the Spotlight Shop. It's doing really well this tour, but I think it's more tour specific. Obviously, we got a lot of Bangkoks in here. Squeaky Clean Sprint, though, in ranked. And then Gold Umbrella got the Squeaky Clean Sprint R, and 8-bit Super Mushroom. Nice to see that one get a little buff. It's still somehow in the top 40. And then I think that's really all I need to say about the gliders. What's your thoughts on the rest of the gliders that got buffs?
Yeah, didn't really add. Like, the thing is, we're looking at the most value added. There's a lot of items here which only got one buff, which went up a lot, but a lot of that is more due to the model change and cities becoming worth more. Like the White Waves getting a lot of value, like the fifth most value added, but it only got one buff. It got a good buff, but it has 19 cities, so it's getting a little bit of extra value for each of those 19 cities. But other than that, not really a whole lot to mention here. We were really looking for mostly the ones that got Peach Circuit RT, but that was only 2 gliders. Aside from Pink Bubble Balloon, that was only the Mario Brothers Parafoil and a Mosaic Starshoot, which got that. So we can, I think we can move on.
Yeah, Nintenja asked what 8-bit never appear in the top 10. It seems like they.
I don't think it's been in the top 10.
Yeah, it's right there at 11, but it seems like all these 8-bit items have been massively valuable. It just seems like they all do well. One of the safest investments, if you had to just kind of make a blanketed statement, which again, it's really nearly impossible to say in this game. So great job to the 8-bits. We'll see if Goomba. I know I'm rooting for Goomba 8-bit. I know Sammy and I went with Block Glider. He went with Goomba, and it does look like the Block Glider is getting the hair win there. But still, time will say. They're still pretty new. We'll see what happens. But I try to use that as a very cheap segue into the top 10. So let's get into it. Anytime we're talking about these slides, I kind of want to break it down. In case there's anyone new out there, we always want new players to feel welcome. Feel free to hit us up on Discord or on YouTube here and let us know in the comments that you're new playing. We want to help you guys out. because there's a lot going on in this game. As you can see, we literally talked for 2 hours about buffs and top tens, etc. About literally a cartoon go-kart game. So let's start with number 10 on our list. So that's where you see in the top left corner. Last tour was at 9, so it went down. That's where you see the down 1 arrow. Moving to the right, you got the yellow Me Racing suit. He's got 22 assumed tracks, 14 nitro. So at this point in time, I think we will designate it in the future. We're still working with Turtle Dude and Larry on this, but 22 assumed tracks. These are tracks that are not nitro. They are not cities. These are retro tracks that are reoccurring all the time. And kind of this is the pool of which Nintendo brings back these tracks. Now, it's really hard to predict when nitro tracks are going to come back. Think Sky High Sunday, Merry Mountain, Ninja Hideaway. They might come back once a year. That's pretty much all that we can expect as a base minimum. Whereas we could see some of these tracks like say Peach Circuit. This is I think like the second or third time we've seen it this year. Probably see it 5 times by the end of the year. That's kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about assumed tracks. These are tracks that we want to invest in because it will most likely, based on what the trends Nintendo has given us, give us the best advantage for our accounts. Now, 14 Nitro, these are important to know, especially as we start to see cities incorporated. Again, there's so many cities that we haven't seen in a long period of time. So many, and then every time that we are introduced to them, they're not in ranked. I mean, Paris Promenade, the fact that this isn't ranked is an absolute miracle. It's been a long time since we've seen an older item like this be brought, older track being brought into this. There he is, Mr. Unicorn himself. Nintendo gifted 5 stud memberships. Thank you, Nintendo. I promise you, the next rundown, we will put you in the Unicorn stud member. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. So to go continue on this, below the assumed tracks and 14 Nitro, there's one track left to see, which of course is Frappe Snowland RT, for those who know the notorious track. But really what happens is every time an item sees a track for the very first time, it either gets it or it doesn't, and that's it, based on what Nintendo's given us. So they also gave the record setter 2 level 8 unlocked tracks, so anything could happen. But at this point in time, the trend that Nintendo's shown us is that if a item has seen a track and didn't get it, it will never get that track. That's what we've seen so far. So we are working off those assumptions to the best of our knowledge. And so Yellow Me has seen every single track in the game except for that Frappe Snowland RT. So, I think this is more of like a tiebreaker. So if you're looking at 2 items, you want to maybe go with the newer item based on the buffing cycle, based on when it could be used in ranked. There's a chance that could be more useful in the future. But again, highly recommend taking a look at the trackers. Basically, this entire slide is really to help you to help you pretend you're looking at a tracker, because really you should be looking at the tracker. But if you don't have a tracker, you didn't want to fill it out, here's as much information as we can provide you to give you as much information that a tracker would without filling out the tracker. So you're welcome. That is all everything you see there on the right. You see is brought to us by Larry98. On his sheets, you can also see these are all the tracks that Yellow Me Racing Suit has that are assumed, that also has top skill drivers. So you'll notice there, you want to kind of see these tracks that maybe have 1 or 2. So for a good example would be, one of its best tracks would be Ghost Valley 2RT. You would have to take PD Piranha Gold to level 6 to use a top skill driver on that track. So that's kind of what you want to look at. Some other good ones would be like Rainbow Road RT off the Wii version. You just have 2 non-me drivers on that track. So those are some ways to kind of break down what you see on this list. But again, you can definitely check out Larry 98 sheet. So that's the right side of the screen, the top side of the screen. On the left, these are 2 critical things for you to just keep in mind. One is pairings, which is brought to us by a Turtle Dude. Essentially, if you plug in Yellow Me Racing Suit and say, I want to know what 3 drivers, in addition to the feature driver, which is Yellow Me Racing Suit, would cover the most number of tracks. What's that number, and what would those 3 items, 3 drivers be? So if you did that with Yellow Me Racing Suit, if you paired him with Mario Samurai, Larry's Wintertime, and Gold Charging Chuck, you would cover 112 of the 326 assumed tracks. So why does this matter? Well, if you've invested in Gold Charging Chuck, maybe Yellow Me is on your radar. Maybe he'd be a good pairing for you. Now, Gold Charging Chuck's probably going to pair with a lot of different things, so keep that in mind. Take it with a grain of salt. Moving finally to the bottom. This is probably, I think, for me, probably the most useful part. And this is the top skill overlap. So this means that Yellow Me Racing Suit, out of his 36 tracks, he overlaps with Poochie 5 times. He overlaps with Daisy Tie Dress 4 times and Toad Astronaut 4 times. So what's great about this, and what actually helps me think about this is a great thing for Yellow Me, is that none of those are Me suits. Now here's the thing, is both of the pairings and the overlap, you're not going to see a lot of Me's, just because they don't have a lot of tracks. So yeah, and take that with a grain of salt. I think there's a couple of these that you'll see on here that do have Me suits. That's where I would want to pay a little more attention. If it's Me suit versus Me suit, or non-Me suit versus non-Me suit, you're going to want to pay attention either way if you see Me suits on there or not. So there you go. I spent way too much time, mainly just to help break it down. I want new players to feel welcome. So that's number 10. We'll speed through the rest. But number 9, we got Poochie. He's down 1 spot, 35 Zoom tracks, 7 cities, 86 tracks to see, which is a lot. These pairings cover 118 of the 326 tracks. He does overlap, though, with another Lucky 7 driver 7 times. That's ironic. With Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer. 6 times with Spode. That's Toad Astronaut. And then 5 times with Morton Me and Yellow Me Racing Suit. So, yeah, some of these numbers aren't the highest, but when you see those 2 Me suits covering 5, those are 5 tracks that it basically lose immediately if you've invested in the Me's. Now, if you maybe didn't invest in the Me's, in which case I think Poochie is a pretty safe investment. He's still really new and doing really well in the meta. Definitely one to, if you like the Lucky 7 driver like me, go ahead and invest in him. He's a pretty safe investment if you haven't invested in the Me's. Now, Toad Astronaut, I think this is already one of the nominations for Best Driver of the Year. He's just been ranked. If ranked matters to you, this guy has been balling out all year. He still has 20 tracks left to see, up 2 spots to number 8, 36 assumed tracks, 11 cities. The only one I would probably put above him would be Gold Charging Chuck, and obviously Me Racing Suits. I think Me Racing Suits going to probably win it off, but I feel like he deserves a nomination nonetheless. His pairings cover 122 of the 326 tracks, 2 of which are Coinbox drivers, and then White Tanuki Mario. He does overlap 6 times with Poochie, 5 times with Toad Tourist, 4 times with Morton and Coinbox Me Racing Suit, and Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer. At number 7 on our list, down 1 spot, surprisingly, despite having a phenomenal tour. We just had some other drivers get some pretty insane buffs as well. He got 23 assumed tracks, 3 cities, only 3 cities. That is phenomenal. Still very new to the game. 110 tracks left to see. His pairings cover 112 of the 326 tracks, but these are some pairings you've seen already quite a lot so far in this rundown. Some overlap, if you notice there, only the PD Me Racing Suit is on this list. He's really the only one you have to worry about, but they're both Boomerang. It's kind of unfortunate. You kind of would have rather seen maybe King Boo or something else, but 2 Boomerang drivers overlap with each other 4 times. For me's, that's not a lot, but it could be enough for you to just say, I'm going to go either Larry Me or PD Me. For me, those are my only 2 Coinbox Me Racing Suits I've invested in. And because of that, I've taken them to level 8 quad cap. And I just want them to be my it Boomerangers. Because you can get a little burnt out, a little boomed out. But he does overlap with Luigi Knight and PD Piranha, 2 other Boomerang drivers. Maybe there's a little trend there. And then, of course, Mario Samurai 4 times. Larry Wintertime did go up 1 spot. He was very efficient with his buffs this tour. Number 6 on our list, 39 assumed tracks, 13 cities. So again, a little light on the cities, got like that. 9 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 121 of the 326 tracks. Interesting that he pairs with Spode there. Does overlap 7 times with PD Piranha and Chef Rosalina, 6 times with Daisy Tie Dress, 5 times with PD Piranha Gold and Santa Me Racing Suit. Obviously there with the Santa, they came out in that same tour. Now PD Piranha Gold did go down 1 spot, 37 tracks, 13 cities, 1 track left to see. This pairing covers 112 of the 326 tracks. Again, I think compared to Gold Charging Chuck, he unfortunately seems to be lagging behind, but he's a big hitbox. All 37 of those tracks are going to be pretty decent options for you. He doesn't have any Mii's that he overlaps with a lot, which is really, really good. He overlaps with Pink Shy Guy Ninja and Yoshi Gold something 7 times. 6 times with PD Piranha, 5 times with Larry Wintertime and Kamek. So yes, it does have some coin boxes on there, but all of those are either medium or small hitboxes compared to the giant hitbox that PD Piranha Gold is. I kind of dog PD Piranha Gold because I took him to 8 quad, and he hasn't been as good as I was hoping. But he's still really good. He's just not as good as Charging Chuck, which we'll get to here in a second. So Daisy Tydress did go up 1 spot. She's number 4 on our list. 38 assumed tracks, 17 cities. Maybe just a little bit more condensed as we get to the top, which doesn't seem to be changing very often. A lot of people want to see what's happening with Larry Mee. He's kind of brand new. He's kind of starting to kind of figure out where his overlaps are. Whereas we've seen Daisy Tydress for over a year now. We've seen Question Block for over a year now, and so not a lot is changing in that respect. But Daisy Tydress. This looks like it's not correct, but not a big deal. Her pairings would be 124 of the 326 tracks. Does overlap 8 times with Gold Me. That is alarming. If you have not gotten to tier 80, consider Daisy Tydress basically like a Gold Me light version. I think from that perspective, she can help you out in a bind. It does overlap 7 times with Yoshi Kangaroo, 6 times with 2 smaller hitboxes. So I think overall, she's doing pretty well. I think she's still really strong in the meta. Question Block Mii Racing Suit. He does have 29 assumed tracks, 9 cities, which is decent for a Mii. He's seen every track in the game. These pairings cover 116 of the 326 tracks. Does overlap 6 times with Mario Saddle of You. PD Piranha, 5 times with Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer, 4 times with Daisy Tydress and Larry Wintertime. So none of those are Mii's. I think Question Block, he's very efficient. If you remember our conversation last time, there were some people last year who were saying Question Block was going to be better than the Gold Mii Racing Suit. Obviously, some of us were talking about the Gold Mii Racing Suit having a different buffing cycle than any other item in the game, and that honestly has put him on a different trajectory. But there was a while there where Question Block was looking like the better Mii Coinbox driver. Talking about Gold Mii, he is our number 1 driver in the game, with Charging Chuck Gold only behind him. Gold Charging Chuck, 40 assumed tracks, 13 cities, seen every track in the game except for that one. We have Mario Samurai, Daisy Tydress, and Tanuki Mario, covering 124 of the 326 tracks. It does overlap 6 times with Gold Yoshi, Gold Something, Luigi Knight, and Charging Chuck. 5 times with the Santa Mii Racing Suit and the Larry Wintertime, and 4 times with Poochie, which is a new development there. We have Gold Mii Racing Suit. This pairing covers 120 of the 326 tracks. As we talked about, already overlaps 8 times with Daisy Tydress, Gold Yoshi Gold Something, and Peach Happy. 7 times, not worried about that. You have 5 times with Meowser and Luigi Vacation. So there you go. That's our top 10. To round out the top 15, we have PD Piranha Mii Racing Suit at 11, Mario King at 12, White Tanuki Mario at 13, the regular Piranha Plant Mii Racing Suit at 14, which is the top non-plus skill Mii suit at 14, Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer at 15. So, Antilev, sorry, it's been a while. I'll catch up on the chat while you're reading this, but what's your thoughts on the top 10, top 15 for drivers?
I mean, actually, there's not a whole lot to say because of the spread out nature of the buffs this tour. Even value wise, there's not much of a shakeup. We got little spots up and down here. Like Daisy Tydress, she went up, but it might have to do more with the model change than anything else. She has a lot of city tracks. She just has a lot of tracks in general. Toad Astronaut, he's in ranked, so that's kind of why he maybe went up a couple of spots. But honestly, there's not, even in the top 15, there's not really a lot of movement here going on. The more valuable buffs, I think, came sort of lower down the list, like Rosalina Chef or Toadette Mii Racing Suit. So I don't have a lot of time
okay.
on this one.
No worries. I see Rabbi Terra KJ. I see Puffton. What's going on, Puffton? Hopefully you're doing well. And then Hana Uzaki. And hopefully you guys are all doing well. Thanks for joining us. Let's get into carts. Carts are where we get a little interesting because I think with drivers, it's like you're going plus skill and you're going Mii's, and it's pretty straightforward. As for carts, we see some movement this tour. A lot of people going up, going down. A few remain the same, but I think nothing drastic this tour. I think that's one of the things that hopefully you learned from going through that top 10 for the drivers that you also see with carts and gliders. Just because this was such a weird tour with, we got nitros, we got cities, we got retros, and so nothing really went bonkers above 5 spots. But here we have Rainbow Taxi to go down 1 spot, 35 assumed tracks, 6 cities, 42 tracks left to see, which is a decent amount. For these pairings, covers 117 of the 326 tracks. Does overlap though with the jukebox buggy 7 times, 6 times for the blooper shuttle and rainbow streetle, 5 times with the camo Tanuki cart and Lightning McQueen. So there you go. I think overall, I mean, I haven't been really excited about this Rainbow Taxi. Nothing. Some of those carts are in the meta, but none of them are like extra large. So not that the Rainbow Taxi is extra large either, but I think it's a decent cart, doing pretty well. Sakura Sports Coupe, again, just to hit home with this minimum viable hitbox. It's kind of like the hitbox that you feel like you can get as many actions or coins on the track. If you're getting a large coin box driver, you want a large hitbox to get up every single coin you can. I kind of draw the line for my minimum viable hitbox as where I can get 2 coins on a ramp pretty consistently, either by just kind of going, in a drift through and try to get 2, or kind of going at an angle. If I can't, I gotta probably move on up. And I feel like the Sakura Sports Coupe does fall below that minimum viable hitbox, but it is a person by person account that you have to kind of make that determination for yourself. There are still 62 tracks left to see, which makes you're pretty optimistic the Sakura Sports Coupe will do pretty well. It's still pretty new to the game. These pairings cover 115 out of the 326 tracks. One of the reasons I think it's doing pretty well is it doesn't overlap a lot with some of the meta carts, which I think it really, really helps it out. The Warrior Wagon 6 overlaps 5 times with the Jumbo Jetter. Jumbo Jetter, obviously, in the meta. Here in the top 10, we'll be talking about it here in a second. Warrior Wagon used to be in the meta. Some people might have invested in it. Definitely a substantially larger hitbox than the Sakura Sports Coupe. And actually, I think overall it's got some pretty decent coverage. At number 8, we do have the Rainbow Pipe Buggy. They go down 2 spots, but it's like really, really new still. 31 assumed tracks, 6 cities, 54 tracks left to see. I will give tip the hand a little bit. We'll be talking about this with Matt and Flo a little bit as well, as it would do really well with my account. This overlap covers 113 of the 326 tracks. Prop Cart, 6 overlaps. Blooper Shuttle, 5 overlaps, and 4 with the Blazing Eagle. I think you might be concerned about the Blooper Shuttle or the Blazing Eagle. Those are 2 meta carts for sure. Taiko Jump Dasher, very new as well. 62 tracks left to see. Right there on the fringe of that minimum viable hitbox. This pairing covers 116 of the 326 tracks. Does overlap though with the Rainbow Streetle 6 times, the Flowery Badwagon, and the Blooper Shuttle 5 times. Those 5 overlaps can be concerning. Both of those carts are larger than the Taiko Drum Dasher. Rainbow Streetle, very small cart. Definitely test drive this before you invest in it. 32 tracks left to see, 9 cities. I've actually been surprised it has 43 tracks left to see. I feel like it's been in the meta for quite some time, but I'm never like super enthusiastic. Just because
you know anyone who's invested in it?
I don't know literally anyone who's
invested.
invested. I really don't. If you've invested in it, let us know in the chat. We'll give you a little special yeehaw or something. But this the pairing here with the yellow off-roader, armored rider, and the gold bruiser, which is a very, very common pairing. These 3 carts pair really well with a lot of items, including the Rainbow Streetle. 7 overlaps though with the Rainbow Taxi, 6 with the Taiko Drum Dasher, and here's where you have to be concerned. These 3 on the bottom, the Pink Speeder, Blazing Eagle, Mumu Off-Roader, some meta level carts there. At number 5, we have this Pink Speeder we just talked about. 33 assumed tracks, 14 cities, 5 tracks left to see. It's been around for a while, but really, really strong. It keeps getting rank buffs. I honestly wish I would have invested in this when it first came out, but I was kind of thrown off a little bit by the size. It is not large, but it's probably medium. It's like probably right there with that Lightning Streamliner, just above that minimum viable hitbox, but not by much. I will say one of the things that's I think alarmed me, especially early on, and it looks like it's continued on that path, is it overlaps a lot with some of these large carts, including the Red Off-Roader 7 times, 5 times with the Blazing Eagle, 5 times with the Camo Tanuki cart, and now this doing well in the meta, Red Comet. At number 4, we have this Mumu Off-Roader, 33 assumed tracks, 10 cities. I think it's just going to own this number 4 spot. I think it's been in like number 4 exactly for basically 2 months. But it's a very large hitbox. These off-roaders are the largest in the game. So even if you have to invest in the brown off-roader, still probably a safe investment because it's going to be the best cart on all those tracks you use it on. Does overlap with some squirrely looking squirrely carts here really, like, none of these are in the top 10 right now between the Ghost. I think this is not the Ghost Ride. This is the other one. Now it's going to beat me up that I don't know it. But the regular Streetle and that 7 times. 5 times with the Rainbow Streetle and the Warrior Wagon. And then 4 times with the Black Shielded Speedster. At number 3, we have the Blazing Eagle. It did go down 1, even though having a pretty good tour. 32 assumed tracks, 18 cities, 1 track left to see. These pairings cover 117 of the 326 tracks. Does overlap 5 times with the Red Off-Roader and Pink Speeder and the Gold Lunar Cruiser, which this might be, I think, the first time I'm talking about the Gold Lunar Cruiser. It's not in the Spotlight Shop, but it's one of the best gold carts in the game. Again, that's not saying much, but it is. And then 6 times for the Blooper Shuttle, which that actually is, not concerning, but it's worth noting. You might want to go into either the Blazing Eagle or the Blooper Shuttle. That's so tough, but they're kind of like both great, but again, not quite as bad as the Black Star Shoot, which I'm sure we'll mention here in a little bit, alongside the Blue Masks. But 6 is a decent amount for 2 carts that are both in the meta. At number 2, we have the Blooper Shuttle up 1 spot. We just talked about it. 38 assumed tracks, 7 cities, 20 tracks left to see. Good tour here for the Blooper Shuttle. It walked away a good winner here. Does overlap, as we just talked about, 5 times with the Blazing Eagle, Armored Rider, and Tycho Drum Dasher, all meta cards. And then 7 times, which is a lot, with this Rainbow Taxi. So I definitely would not go into Blooper Shuttle and the Rainbow Taxi. Probably do one or the other. Right now, Blooper Shuttle is crushing it. And then at number 1, one of the fan favorites, Blue Crawley Cart. Can it continue its hot streak, its blue hot streak? 35 assumed tracks, 5 cities, very low city track number, 36 tracks left to see. This pairing includes the Gold Bruiser, the Blooper Shuttle, and the Yellow Off-Roader, or remove the Blooper Shuttle with the Blazing Eagle, as we kind of talked about. They're both kind of like one or the other for some accounts, but when it comes to pairing, it would cover 116 of the 326 tracks for the Blue Crawley Cart. The only reason I have not invested in it is because you see there, Armored Rider, 8 overlaps, 7 overlaps with the Shielded Speedster. Shielded Speedster is my favorite card of the game. No doubts about that. Even the Jukebox Buggy 6 times there. So I would not go into the Armored Rider if I have already invested in the Blue Crawley cart, and vice versa. Same thing with the Shielded Speedster. Again, 8 or 7 comparatively is not that big of a deal, but you will see it. You'll see it in the game. You're going to open it up. You're going to see Blue Crawley right there at level 8 quad cap, right there next to the Shielded Speedster. And you're going to feel like, wish those I had those 8 or 7 tracks back. So there you go. That is our top 10. To round out the top 15, we have this Gold Lunar Cruiser, as we talked about, number 11 on our list. Silver Cupid's Arrow at 12. Camo Tuniki Card at 13. Jumbo Jetter at 14. And Red Comet at 15. It is the number 1 Comet variation in the game, above the pink. I had to correct myself. But, Antilev, what are your thoughts on all of these cards?
Well, you wouldn't have been wrong in the previous tour because the pink Comet was above the red, but the pink Comet went down 6 spots out of the top 15, and the red Comet went up 8 spots. Again, and not that much movement. Yes, we do have a new number 1 in the Blue Crawley card and Blooper Shuttle, barely by 4 basis points going above the Blazing Eagle, but it is really negligible. So again, not that much movement at the top. The interesting movement here is in the top 15. Silver Cupid's Arrow is up 6 spots to number 12. Jumbo Jetter is up 6 spots, number 14, and Red Comet is up 8 spots, number 15. So 3 cards that made a pretty big jump to get into the top 15. But yeah, not really anything. I feel like we have a lot of cards here that like nobody cares about. Like Tycho Drum Dasher, Rainbow Streetle, Sakura Sports Coupe, Rainbow Taxi. I mean, maybe we need to look at the model and put a bigger bonus on hitbox, because the way it seems to me, people just dismiss those smaller hitbox items kind of out of hand. We have so many cards and so many cards to choose from. It's just not worth it. So maybe we'll review the model and we'll increase the hitbox bonus to make the top 10 maybe a bit more reflect the reality of these big cards that are just so much more popular.
Hey, no, certainly. I mean, there are some that people will not invest in, and let us know if you invested in the Rainbow Streetle, and we're just off our rocker. But yeah, no, I think overall people are pretty exclusively investing in larger hitbox, which I think makes sense. That's what you should be doing. But there's sometimes where newer players do want to get that coverage. quickly. And for that respect, I mean, maybe it helps you in the short term, but I think long term, you should always be thinking about larger hitbox. And G. Siegel, Alex Berman mentioned it is the Black Carriage. So I'm like one for. I messed up one out of like 326 items I've mentioned so far this episode. So I have to give them that shout out. And then As You Can Season says love your content. I had to give him a shout out. Good. Frenzy Fanboy has the Taiko Drum Dasher and Rainbow Taxi at 6,595. All right, well there you go. Those are good cards. Good for him. Like I said, I don't think he's as he's also going with Larry Wintertime, and he's not as concerned about the hitbox. He wants to use items that he loves, and I think there's a lot of respect to that too. All right, last but not least, we got the gliders. We're going to wrap this up in the next 15 minutes. We got Calico Toe Beam Balloons at number 10 on our list, down one spot. 36 assumed tracks, 10 cities, 1 track left to see. His overlap, he's got 7 overlap with the Goomba, the 8-bit Goomba. So if you went into this, I think this is one of the reasons why this glider does so well in my account. I have not invested into any of these 4, but 3 of the 4 are really strong meta, and 1 Antilev just really likes for some reason. That would be the Yoshi's Cookies. But 8-bit Super and the Wonderful Diamond, 2 really strong gliders. Number 1 and number 2, I believe. We'll find out here in a second, but both overlap 5 times. So just keep that in mind. Some meta items on this list. Gold Hard Hat, 36 assumed tracks, 8 cities, 41 tracks left to see. These pairings cover 121 of the 326 tracks. I think this is a unique pairing if you think about this. We have not seen necessarily Wonderful Garnet on this list, but Record Setter, Secure Origami Glider have been 2 strong meta gliders to invest in. It does overlap 9 times with the non-gold variation, the yellow hard hat. 9 times. That is substantial. It does overlap 6 times with the Fire Manta glider, 5 times with the Black Starchute and the Boo Masks. So, these are ones I went into some of those items, so definitely something to think about. At number 8, Secure Origami Glider. One of the biggest jumpers this tour, up 5 spots. 39 assumed tracks, 11 cities. Has seen every track in the game, though. Definitely been around the block. This guy is doing pretty well. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here. We got 121 of the 326 tracks covered with these 2 pairings. It does overlap 6 times with this Gold Boo Mask, Black Starchute, and 8-bit Super Glider. 5 times with Lava Rocks and Boo Mask. So it's definitely got kind of this bad boy image for the Secure Origami Glider. At number 7, 8-bit Block Glider, up 3 spots, 33 assumed tracks, 8 cities, 54 tracks left to see. Still a newer glider. These 2 pairings cover 117 of the 326 tracks. It does overlap 7 times with the Fire Manta and the Autumn Leaves, 6 times with Wonderful Garnet, 8-bit Goomba, and the Nabbit Parachute. Definitely a glider I'm high on. This 8-bit block glider might take it to 7, honestly, myself. At number 6, Black Starchute, 37 assumed tracks, 11 cities, 1 track left to see. These pairings cover 116 of the 326 tracks. It is a bad boy glider, though. You look at it there, 10 overlaps with the Boo Masks, 6 overlaps with the Lava Rocks. Just a huge disparity there in overlaps, but 10 is a lot. You definitely do not want to, I would not recommend investing in the Black Starchute and the Boo Masks, but they both look cool. If you like bad boy items, it's sad that they created so much overlap, but they came out in the same tour and they kind of continued the same streak. Nabbit Parachute, number 5 on our list, 35 assumed tracks, 9 cities, 43 tracks left to still see. Still a newer glider in general. This pairing covers 120 of the 326 tracks. Does overlap 8 times with the Wonderful Garnet, 6 times with the 8-bit Block Glider, 5 times with the Black Starchute, and the Goomba, 8-bit Goomba. So another kind of baddie glider, if you look at it that way, overlapping with some of the. And again, maybe it's not necessarily a baddie, but definitely some of the old school items like the Block, the Goomba, etc. Wonderful Diamond, down 1 spot. It was at the number 1 for a while there, but it has dropped, unfortunately, last couple episodes. 34 assumed tracks, 9 cities. That 9 is pretty decent. 36 tracks left to see. This pair covers 120 of the 326 tracks. Really, the only glider you should be scared about is this 8-bit Super Glider, which I haven't seen a lot of people invest in, but it's really strong in the meta. We'll talk about it here in a second. Best of Holly, I think, is in our top 15, so we want to take note of. But Wonderful Diamond is doesn't have a lot of competition when you look at that overlap, except for that 8-bit Super. Yellow Hard Hat Balloon up 1 spot to number 3. 34 assumed tracks, 13 cities, 19 tracks left to see. These pairings cover 117 of the 326 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with the Autumn Leaves. Your Mosaic Starshoot 6 times with the Fuzzy Kite and the 8-bit Super Glider. So you have some of your favorite items there overlapping with the Yellow Hard Hat. Makes it tough to maybe invest in one of those. Love to hear your opinion when we get to you, Antilev. Here we have that 8-bit, that notorious 8-bit Super Glider. 38 assumed tracks, 13 cities, and still a whopping 54 tracks left to see. This guy is killing it right now. These pairings cover 119 of the 326 tracks. It does overlap 10 times with the Wonderful Diamond, 9 times with the Festive Holly, 8 times with the Yellow Hard Hat, and 7 times with this the Mario Bros. Parafoil. And last but not least, the better of the 2 gems, which have been having a great year so far, Wonderful Garnet, probably up there in conversation as one of the top gliders of the year. I think 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom has defied all odds to be able to make quite a name for itself. But you notice we have not talked about it yet. We may not even talk about it all in the top 15. But Wonderful Garnet is coming on as the second half of the year leader. 38 assumed tracks, 13 nitro, 5 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 121 of the 326 tracks. It does have 8 overlap though with the Nabbit Parachute and the 8-bit Super Mushroom. 8-bit Super Mushroom been one of the meta gliders a lot of people invested in the last couple of years. 7 with the Parapanini and the pink checkered glider, and 6 with the 8-bit block glider. So that's our top 10. To round out the top 15, we have the 8-bit Goomba, the last of the 8-bit items to get into the top 10. At 11, the Festive Holly at 12, Autumn Leaves at 13, Gold 8-bit Glider, and 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom. They're at number 15. There's our first half of the year leader. What's your thoughts on the top 15 gliders here, Angela?
Yeah, kind of same story with the carts and the drivers. Not a huge amount of movement, a little bit more. I think it's interesting that we see older items getting more buffs here. This might have something to do with the model change and cities items that are heavy on cities getting buffs. The Secure Origami going up 5 spots to number 8. Also, the 8-bit glider got a similar amount of value added to the Secure Origami. That only went up 3 spots, but in terms of raw value added in the model is actually more than Secure Origami. And then the last point is the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom, even though as old as it is, it's up 9 spots from 24 to 15. So definitely still getting buffs and still absolutely relevant. For everyone who invested in that one early on, you really, really got your money's worth. Other than that, yeah, nothing really to mention. The 8-bit Goomba, actually, I was inaccurate. I was talking about the gold 8-bit glider. 8-bit Goomba was in the top 10 last tour. It was number 8, and it fell out. It was the gold 8-bit glider, which has not been in the top 10, which if you were going to guess one wouldn't be good, it would be the gold one, of course. Other than that, nothing else to mention.
All right, Nintendo, listen up. We got Nintendo, G. Siegel, and Alberto asking for the Sapphire, the wonderful Sapphire. Bring it to us. Give it to us, man.
That would be cool. Or an emerald, maybe a green one.
I could see that too.
Would have green shell though, so you wouldn't invest in it.
Ooh, yeah. All right, the top movers and shakers. We'll wrap up in the next 8 minutes or so. But for the top movers and shakers, Rosalina Chef was the big mover here at the top. That was made a substantial move into the top 50. She went up 20 spots to number 46. You mentioned that like green, Me Racing Suit went up 28 spots to 111. But again, 111's pretty far off there. We do have the Wiggle and Me. He did go up 10 spots to 68. If you're someone like me who took him to level 8 and then just waiting for it to pan out. We do have the pink Me Racing Suit. Yay! Up 9 spots to 70. Okay. And then Waluigi's right there, up 10 spots to 74. I hope one of them emerged so I can throw some tickets needlessly on a non-plus skill me. Most improved carts. I think the biggest one that stands out is the Silver Warrior Wagon. Went up 22 spots to number 23. I think you had mentioned this earlier, Antilev. Another one is the Chain Chomp Chariot to go up 15 spots to 92. And everything else is outside the top 100. I will say this Yeehaw Wagon caught my eye this tour. Walked away a pretty good winner this tour with its buffs. It went up 33 spots to 121 though.
Yeah, it's still super new.
Still
so
super new.
Bit of time.
We got a lot of carts, but it also can move up pretty quickly and leapfrog a lot of
Big
them because we have so many.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, think about the top mover shaker in for drivers was 28 spots. For gliders was 21 spots. For carts, 38. That's just going to happen because we have so many carts. There's literally
over 300 carts in the game now. If you can include all.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So
yeah, like a 10 point swing in your score is going to leapfrog you 20, 30 spots there in the middle. So definitely worth noting there. Good. So we have most improved gliders. I think the most notable one is actually the White Waves glider, origami glider, up 16 spots to 38. We do have the Mario Bros. Parafor, which we talked about, probably one of the winners. This tour went up 18 spots to 82. Still pretty new though. Gold Umbrella went up 13 spots to 36. And then 8-Bit went up Mushroom. Went up 9 spots to 15. So it just has such good coverage. All it needs is one good buff, and it'll pop right back up into our lives again. And that's probably how it'll finish off the year. I think it'll still finish in the top 20 by the end of the year. We'll see what happens. Anything you want to mention here, Antilev?
No, I mean, you can see like it's not that big. The big moves are all like way down the list. White Waves origami is kind of interesting. And then the Silver Warrior Wagon Knife is the one that stands out to me. That's a really relatively new card that's up and coming, and I think that's one that we'll see break the top 15 soon.
Yep, I'm with you there. Let's talk about the level unlock. So there's nothing unlocking out of Squeaky Clean Sprint. That's just a tough track to cover, and you're just going to have to deal with it. As for Paris Promenade, there are a few that get unlocked. You have Birdo Green, which unlocks level 6. Unfortunately, it can't help you out in week 1. Jumbo Judder, level 3 unlock. Pink B-Dasher Mark II, a level 6 unlock. And then you have 2 gliders, level 3 unlock. The gold tulips. Oh, I got a little dyslexic there. And then Golden Glider. Then for Athens Dash 2RT, the pink bubble balloon, which you can't get in week 1, is a level 6 unlock. So basically what you see is what you get there in Athens Dash. Thankfully, there's a lot of options, at least for drivers and really for carts and gliders. For week 2, you do have a couple unlocks. You get the Gold Quickshaw and Goo Goo Gold level 6 and level 8 lock, respectively, for carts. For the Peach Circuit RT, you have Birdo Red, level 6. Honestly, the way this track is looking, this might be your best option. No doubt, you should consider this because
there are no plus skills, I think, top shelf on this track. So this is absolutely going to save a lot of people's lives.
And this is
it's only 15 super tickets to take a super driver from level 1 to level 6. So go for it.
Those 16 tickets could provide a return on investment of a question block me racing suit. So I think this is probably one of the best investments. I think Siegel mentioned it on our reaction. I think this probably is the way you should go with this track. I mean, you can quad cap that bad boy if you want to. The only thing holding you back is if you're trying to go and trying to max out your daily selects. But I mean, getting the question block me racing suit, even if you're leveling them up at 6,000 coins, I don't know. That seems like a no-brainer to me. But again, you also have people who like pink stuff out there who might go into this pink me suit. So who knows? You also have the Glittering Glider at this level 8 unlock. That's a little steep, but it's a decent glider, and like I said, it kind of would do well with my account. Then you have Squeaky Clean Sprint R Green Turbo Birdo, a level 6 unlock. So that is something that you could win in week 1. You could take to level 6. It is a tough track to cover. So definitely both of those, both the Birdo Red and Green Birdo Turbo Birdo, might be good super options for you. Anything you want to add there, Anton?
No, I added what I
wanted. All right. Multiple ranked. I'm going to kind of go through these. So I want to leave a little bit of time. We have an extra slide at the end, some data mining that will warn you. We won't just flash it up. We'll give you some time to adjust. But I have a hard stop here at the top of the hour. We got Rosalina Chef used a double feature alongside King Mario, Cheap Cheap Me, Spike Me, Toad Tourist, Ludwig Me Racing Suit, Birdo Red, Birdo Green. We kind of touched on Birdo Red. She could be the winner of this tour, to be honest with you. And then, of course, Wendy Me. If you want to use her 3 times, you certainly can as well. For carts, we got the Purple Rattle Buggy 3 times. We have Jukebox Buggy, Chocolate Banana Minibus, Blue Crawly Kart, Huff and Puff and Egg, Camo Tanuki Kart, Gold Quickshaw, Jumbo Jetter, Goo Goo Gold, and Green Turbo Birdo all used 2 times. And for gliders, this pink bubble balloon, which you can't get week 1, can be used 4 times. You got the mint and berry balloons, and the Fire Manta, Bright Ribbon, Dolphin Great Sail, Golden Glider, Glittering Glider used 2 times. For All Cup ranking, Wendy can be used the most, a total of 12 times. But you got Poochie right there alongside Toad Tourist, used 10 times if you want to get some of its levels unlocked. Daisy Sailor, Cat Luigi, Daisy Sailor's 9 times, Cat Luigi, Cat Me, Dr. Peach, Pastry Me Chef, Green Me, King Mario, Yellow Me Racing Suit, Toadette Me Racing Suit, Daisy Tie Dress, and Kitsune Luigi all used 8 times. This is a tough tour for All Cup ranking for those invested in the Miis. There's not very many Miis being used in All Cup ranking, which makes this definitely a zig while everyone else is zagging for some who have not invested in Miis. If you're all in on Poochie, this might be a good time. Some people might be holding their tickets when they see a city tour. A number of gliders, including number of carts, to include the Hot Pot Hot Rod 12 times. First time we mentioned that today. Dolphin Drifter, if you want to get that and take it all the way up, that's actually kind of a sneaky move, 11 times there. Then a bunch of small carts. We got the Pink B-Dash Mark II, 9 times, Pink Speeder 8 times, etc. And then gliders, you got the Pink Bubble Balloon. We kind of talked about that one being pretty sneaky good this tour, 11 times. And the rest of these 10 times as well. All right, there we go. That concludes our official episode. I do want to take 1 or 2 minutes to talk about some data mining. So if you do not want to...
Spoilers, if you don't want to be spoiled, get out.
If you do not want to be spoiled, we thank you for joining us. Thank you for those in the chat. Thank you for just hanging out with us, and appreciate this. This kind of is our new thing, is streaming on Fridays. It's always fun hanging out with you guys. I see Vista out there, see others. Appreciate you guys hanging out. All right, we will now, so spoiler alert, we are now moving into some data mining, and this was brought to us by Koopa V. So next tour, we will be from everything that he's found in the data mining, and he has been 100% correct on all of his predictions. Check him out on his YouTube channel. I think it's just Koopa V. I think the V, there's no space between Koopa and V. I think it's just Koopa V. Definitely subscribe to him if you want to know things like this. He does a great video. But here's what he has released. We're going to Madrid. And so it does sound like we'll be going through the soccer stadium. There's a lot of cool artifacts and buildings we'll be going through. There will be a new Mario alt. There'll be a purple Toad pit crew, which apparently will be the last of the pit crew. Some Me Racing suits, Fire Zucchini, Gold Pinch Hitter, some golf. So we got some sports stuff. You know, that Mario alt might be like a soccer Mario. It's kind of my prediction, but we'll see what happens. I do want to leave some time, maybe 1 minute exactly. Antilev, what's your thoughts on this thing? There's been some speculation that because this is the last MOB track, that this could be potentially it for no more nitros. Could be, some people are even speculating as far as this could be it for the game. I wouldn't go as far as that. I know what has been in the data mining for quite some time, that this is the last MOB track. They could add new MOB tracks at all point in time. I do not believe this is the end of the game, but there are some that are speculating that, and everyone's open to their opinion. I think the ones who are speculating are the people who are on Discord servers and YouTube and just fans of the game and just love talking about every little speculation we have. So, Antilev, what do you want to say?
I don't think there's really a point to like speculating over if the game is going to end or not. It looks like we're getting a really exciting, interesting tour with a new Mario alt. It's been ages. A new potential plus skill me suit, and a great looking city that's going to be really cool. So, I mean, I think just enjoy it. You know, I'm sure Nintendo's not going to shut the game down. You have to keep in mind those 30 first placed whale challenges at tier 99. That is not even completable until, you know, a bit later in the year. So I think we have at least till the end of the year, and beyond that, you know, who knows? I'm sure, you know, Mario Kart Run is still active, even if it's not being actively updated. So I don't think they're gonna shut the game down.
Yeah, I don't think the game's going anywhere, but yeah, certainly it's fun to talk about, you know, what's the future of the game. I think we'd like to, you know, Sammy and I have been talking about potentially doing something and maybe having next Kart Talk episode, having a conversation between Sammy and I. So we'll see with you alongside, you know, you guys, the fans. But with that being said, if you'd like to check out Antilev, he'll be streaming later tonight, maybe even now. Matt Ulrich and Flo, from what I've been told by Pepper Rabbit here in the chat, He'll be going live or he'll be doing his premiere sometime tonight as well. So a lot going on in the Mario Kart Tour community. So enjoy the tour, enjoy the vacation. Until next time, may the frenzy luck be with you. See you guys.